Guys, have you seen what Jake Paul's been up to? He's partnering with Rush Royale, and so have I. It's the mobile game guaranteed to keep you entertained. Scan the QR code or click the link below to get the game right away. If you're into strategic planning and fighting monsters like I am, you're gonna love this game. Rush Royale is the ultimate tower defense game. I love playing it. You can build your deck with a variety of powerful units and unlock mighty heroes with unique abilities to take on other players, break through their defenses, and earn rewards. And with Jake Paul as a Rush Royale playable hero, voiced by the man himself, it gets even better. Defend the damn tower. It's the rallying cry of Rush Royale hero Jake Paul. His super abilities enhance the gameplay and the experience. Guys, don't forget to use his Super Punch memory photo and his Champion's belt. That's gonna boost his active skill to deal more damage onto his target. Jake Paul's character is a limited edition only available to get until July 29th. So rush and install Rush Royale right now for free with my link or scan the QR code on the screen. You also get a special Master Chest bonus with great rewards, which can be exchanged for a legendary card. Just scan the QR code or click the link below and fight for the win. Ooh, Dana White was in rare form at the press conference over the weekend. Now, I stole those words from Bloody Elbow. Yes, I admit it. But he was in rare form. He was in this great mood. He was very open and talkative. The conversation of Conor and Chandler came up. And the truth will set you free. We all know that. But in the world of promotion, in the world of storytelling, right, you kind of go in some different directions. You're building interest. It's part of the job. And I felt as though Dana kind of just put the swords down as far as Conor and Chandler goes. And he goes, look, it is really hard to make fights when these guys are so financially successful. I changed his words. That's what he said, though, right? Exactly what he said without being verbatim. And that is the elephant in the room. I mean, that has been the secret within the business that never gets discussed from Jump Street of the narrative. The fighters aren't paid enough. And you can never hang your hat on that. You could never come thinking you're going to win an argument. You could never come out and say, hey, to get a return on my investment, I have to have a guy multiple times. I can't do it one or two. I'm going to lose here, but I can make down the road. Like, this is our model and plan. And if I pay him too much, I can never get him there. Like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win an argument. However, on the other side of it, boom, you just got revealed. It's a really complicated thing. It really is. If you're doing business and you pay somebody an amount where now they don't come back, it's a really tough thing. How do you get Conor there? And see, I don't feel that Conor gets the credit that he deserves. And Conor's the bad guy, right? Conor's rough around the edges. And so the bad guys tend to stick together, right? But I try to not do it from that perspective. I just feel as though Conor, like many of the great magicians, is watch this hand so you don't see what this hand's doing. And I feel that people do miss the career. They miss some of what's actually happening hidden behind a performer who's bringing you entertainment. Like, can we all agree that what Dana said is very true, and we all knew it to be true? And not only do we all know it to be true, if we follow the golden rule of life, which is to put yourself in somebody's position, how would you? It'd be pretty hard, wouldn't it? If you were a prize fighter and you were doing that, and someone gave you X amount of money, it'd be pretty hard for you to come back and want to keep on prize fighting. And that's not new. Errol Hawani loves to quote, I think that Ariel actually says that Marvin Hagler said It's hard to wake up in silk pajamas at 5 in the morning. It's hard to wake up at 5 in the morning and go for a run when you're wearing silk pajamas. Sugar Ray Leonard is actually who said, I hear many people, maybe it wasn't Ariel, I hear many people quote that and assign it to Marvelous Marvin. That is Sugar Ray Leonard's quote. And there's a lot of truth to it. Oscar De La Hoya, even if he botched later in life and he felt, but in his career, boy, that was a competitor first. Golden Boy all the way back to Barcelona. He wouldn't even look his opponent in the eye. He was looking up to the heavens, to his mom. Really represented this country and himself well. And when he made his money, he kept on fighting. And he kept on winning. And when he wasn't winning, they were gritty and they were hard and he was putting it out there. I mean, De La Hoya is as tough as they came. But that's something I think he should get credit for. Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather proved that a rich man can fight. And I don't know that it was in that order. I believe it was Oscar De La Hoya followed by Floyd Mayweather. The problem with Floyd made a bunch of money. It wasn't nearly as much as you were told, but Floyd spent the money. Floyd had to keep on fighting. Oscar still had the money and still chose to fight, but I think that those guys should get credit for it. Conor McGregor, prior to fighting Jose Aldo, which ended in 13 seconds, and set a pay-per-view record. So what would have been before that? It was Chad Mendez, right? It was off the top of my head, but Conor won the interim championship, and then he fed in to Jose Aldo. So after the Conor McGregor, and do you guys remember that night? The gentleman comes out, I want to call him Eric Church, that's not who it was, I got the wrong name, but he sings Chad Mendez to the ring. This was one of the great nights of production in the history of the UFC, and they never went back to it. Maybe it was Eric Church. Who was it? Sings Chad Mendez as he walks through, but we're not told that. We don't know we're getting a concert. We don't know we're getting live. That's what made it so great. Boom, the spotlight hits, and there he is playing and singing. Sinead O'Connor. Remember that, guys? When Conor McGregor walks out there, Sinead O'Connor spotlight hits her. We were never told we were going to get that. And we weren't inundated and forced that down our throat. They played the same amount of time that they would have hit the CD track for. That was so great about it. But that night, just to put in perspective for you, when that fight was done, Conor McGregor took his family. And that was mom and dad, sister. So he got a sister in there? But then his wife, mom and dad. So it's 5 of them, and he took them to a luxury car lot. I want to say it was BMW, but it was a luxury car lot. He said, pick out anything you want, and they did. And they all pulled out of there in brand new cars. Now, sure, I understand. There's frivolous and where you waste your money. That wasn't the point of my story. My point in telling you that was just that was documented. Conor brought us in on it. The dealership brought us in on it. I mean, they did pictures and the Instagram and the whole bit. But this is the kind of cake that he was making back then. Just sharing for you. He had the kind of money before he ever started making money. Before he ever started making money, he had that kind of money. So he's got luxury vehicles for the whole family, right? He's already bought the house. He's got luxury for the whole family before he even fought Jose Aldo, which set a pay-per-view record, which set up him to go to New York against Eddie Alvarez. Do $17.1 million at the gate alone, the box office alone, another pay-per-view record. This is before he then goes into Floyd. For in all fairness, it was an embellished amount. It wasn't what you guys think, but it was a lot of money, right? I mean, do you understand? So Dana's point about it's hard to bring a guy in, that's really true. And when we think about that and then we just apply ourselves to it, that would be hard, right? We could agree. It don't really matter what you're doing. I mean, I said prize fighter, but would it make a difference, guys? My father was a plumber. But if he got $1 million to go do a water service, I don't know that he was going to do that for 30 years. It's one of those interesting things, but Conor McGregor did. I mean, he really did. I don't have in front of me how old Conor is. I always want to say he's 35, but somebody told me he's not that old. Okay, great. He's 33. I don't know that it makes a bit of difference. If you're a professional athlete into your mid-30s, you put in your time. You can get to your 40s like I did, but you're going to need chemical enhancement. I'm saying for you in all fairness, Conor didn't cut his career short. He could walk away today. He didn't cut his career short. He made his money, but he kept on fighting all the way through. The same credit that we give De La Hoya, we have to apply to Conor. And that's without the Chandler fight. Whether he does Chandler or he doesn't do Chandler, he didn't cut his career short. He stayed in there and he put the full time in. He gave everybody the opportunity to take the shine. It's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get that torch and light it up as big as you can, but before you go, you hand it to somebody else. And I thought that it was a really fascinating point that Dana revealed it. Because we all knew it to be true, right? We all knew it, but to say it is another thing. And then to have those guys as hungry, and every compliment that I just gave Conor, and I understand there's more commas than zeros, but Michael Chandler doesn't ever have to fight again. Michael Chandler doesn't have to work again. And he hasn't needed to in a period of time. And by the way, that's a guy who's smart with his money. On top of everything else, that's a guy that still got his money. From his first fight when he was 24, I'm just sharing, it was a big reveal. But of something that we all knew. And when you do look at that, I think that you do have to credit Conor and what drove him, what motivated him different. Because the things that we like first, we don't like a mouthy guy. We don't like any of those things in front of a competitor. Competitor is number one. Sometimes we don't say it because that sounds dull. But in our hearts, we like a competitor. And when you look at Conor McGregor, particularly after what's now been revealed, and when you look back and you think of it in that perspective, he had his money all the way back right after the Chad Mendes fight. But he's still been there this entire time. I'm very confident the story's not over. I'm very confident he doesn't just have Chandler left, by the way. I'm very confident you're going to get Conor 3 more times. But it's pretty impressive, isn't it? And it's pretty unique. And I don't think you could find anybody else in MMA to say the same about. And you'd have to look to De La Hoya and Mayweather. And in fairness, if you're in a combat sport, that's some pretty good company.